Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting up with Team 1's Eastern player of Randy Savage, going first land as a Cybran in Laddish Red Pink. He is a 1,000 rated player. To his west in Snow White, blending in with the environment, is Lamartez, going first land as a Cybran. He is a 1,600. To his southwest, we have Team 1's Nightly, going first land as another Cybran here for Team 1. Back-to-back Cybrans here for Team 1. He is in Rust. He is a 1,900, the highest ranked player on Team 1 and in the game overall. And to his southwest, we have in Imperial Gray, Lin, calling him Lin for short, going first line as a Seraphim. He is a 1,600. And rounding out Team 1's front line is Just Q, going first line as an Aeon in Light Oak Tan as another 1,600 for Team 1. So for Team 1's side of the map, they have 3 Cybran, 1 Aeon, 1 Seraphim, which means Team 1 lacks UEF technology. Starting off with Team 2's Eastern player of the Ruby Red variety of Babel, going first line as an Aeon as a 1,400. In the middle here for Team 2 is the Batman Gray player of Kane, going first line as the one and only UEF of the game as an 1,800, the highest ranked player on Team 2. And in Pac-Man Yellow to his southwest is Can't Eat Gluten. That really sucks. Going first line as an Aeon. He is a 1,400. To his west, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue, we have Dr. Alexis going land all day as a 1,300 as a Seraphim. And last but not least, here for Team 2 in Glow in the Dark Green for Fong, we have Team 2's Cybran player. He is going first land secondary as a 1,700. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have one of each of the factions at a minimum, plus another another Aeon, making them 2 Aeon, 1 UEF, 1 Seraphim, and 1 Cybran. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 30,000 reclaim, which means it's 3,000 mass per player to scoop up. A lot more mass than yesterday's cast. Speaking of yesterday's cast, again, I don't know what it is, but somehow in a lot of these 5v5, 6v6 plus games, somebody talks about food as their name. Can't eat gluten. That still makes me hungry. Every single time I cast a game with somebody's name with food, it's like, oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, egg rolls sound good. You know, last episode that was egg roll. I don't know what it is. It's just casting Forged Lines Forever games makes me hungry. I don't know what it is. And there is a lot of mass in terms of mass points everywhere on the map. I mean, even just a reclaim, it's everywhere. It's like a shotgun shell just fired at mass everywhere. Also, speaking of which, it's like someone fired a shotgun shell with all these little mountains everywhere. The middle of the map is just going to be horrendous for pathfinding. Look at this. Look at the nonsense in the middle of the map. Just to give you an idea of a nice little side, from the elevation. Look at all that. I can barely see the other side of the map. Look at that nonsense. And in terms of mass point layouts, to take a look at Team 1's side of the map, the Northwestern team, there's a Trimex down here as well as here, another Trimex here, another Trimex up here, and another one up there. And the only thing I don't like about Snow White maps is just it makes it very difficult to see that lime kind of glow in the dark green color that the mass extractors give off. I wish there was a way to invert those colors, kind of like what they do with the Aeon Colossus laser, where they invert the color so it's easier to see it. I kind of wish they did that with the Mechs, make it not only easier for everyone watching, but also me casting it to actually look what's going on. I could probably put them on the mini-map, but then they just get everywhere, and it's really hard to tell what's going on with all the other icons on there, so I usually leave those off. But, again, let me know down in the comments if you know of any way to invert the colors, for at least for snow maps. It makes it easier for everyone, including myself, to look at where all the mass extractors are. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see where our players are off to in this game. Transport laden with engineers to the west here for Team 1's Lin, moving in to grab this Trimex position, and then we'll probably try to grab this one as well. Scouting units outbound for Dr. Alexis for Team 2 to the west. Bombers already outbound, trying to aggressively go after Team 1 engineers, stop the expansion, as well as some ground units doing the exact same thing for Just Q in the east. We have Babel pushing northward as well, with Kane moving in a similar direction. One going for the edge of the map and the other one going a little bit closer to the middle, with Team 2's glow-in-the-dark green player of Fong moving into the nonsense that is going to be the middle of the map nonsense, because land battles are just going to be, I mean, Team 1 and T2 will be fine, but once you get large groups of T3 and Colossus and Experimental, everything, like this is a small, nice little kill box, but moving units through that's going to be a pain. This isn't as bad because you can always go around. It's going to take a little bit more time, but it's easier, and you could just take this little plateau approach as well. Nice little ramp. And for Team 2's players, have they left all their main bases in terms of all their players? Nope. Everybody except Can't Eat Gluten has left their main base. Team 1, all of the players have left their main bases. So Team 2's middle, southeastern, whatever you want to call this position player, he's going for an air factory. He might be Team 2's air player because he is sitting in his main base. That would make sense. We see a couple of the land units outbound for Dr. Lexus pushing into the west, going after this Team 1 Mechs position. And we do see that Team 1's main focus, at least in terms of Lin, is this southern position, which is actually on Team 2's side of the map, trying to secure that as well. The only issue I see with this is it can easily get cut off by the comm and other reinforcing units here from Dr. Lexus. So it's going to be a decent investment into this land spam base that Lin is putting into, but it may work out, it may not work out. We'll just have to watch and see how the game goes on. We do see in the north, Lamartez is actually pushing into the middle as well. Gun speed and range has been started for Fong in the middle, and we do see that Randy Savage is moving into the east. We do see, again, Team 2 is a little bit ahead of him, and he's going to be facing down an additional comm, so it's going to be 2v1 in the east, possibly 2v1 in the middle here for the advantage for Team 1. It looks like it's going to be another 2v1 advantage for Team 1. And of course, with Team 2's Burkhardt airsoft player of Can't Eat Gluten in the rear, scaling up his facilities. We do see that Lexus is just ignoring this base for the time being. We do see that Lin is also going to build another base over here. Team 1 bombers over the top here for Team 1's. Actually, these are outbound from Kane. And that is actually going to get stopped for the time being just from one bomber. Definitely unfortunate. And more units coming in to reinforce and secure that backline Trimax position for Lin. Gun speeding range has been started for Dr. Lexus on that little plateau. A couple of units try to break through but get stopped here by the comm of Lamartez. And we're seeing a little bit of engineering situations going down here for Dr. Lexus, just to get a little bit more mass in his coffers per second. Speaking of mass, Team 1 sitting at almost 200, Team 2 at 190, so mass differential isn't really a factor at this stage in the game, being that little in terms of discrepancy. But of course, if the discrepancy widens for one way or the other, it becomes worse for that team or the other. And now we see that this base here for Team 1's Lin is being surrounded. He has one PD emplacement, which will help a little bit, but all it's going to take is a couple of Zooey inbound from Dr. Lexus to come in and rip that PD emplacement apart quite quickly. Units engaged here actually push out on Dr. Lexus's forces, which will force him to retreat and hold back to his comms position. These two comms have now arrived for both Lin and Knightley, which means this very frontline position for Kane will be eradicated. We do see that Fong is having some bleeding issues in the middle of the map here with everything that he has to worry about with all the rocks and the Mantis running. Actually, these are Aurora, excuse me, outbound from Just Q. We even see some Mantis outbound from Lamartis as well. So there is a Mantis issue he has to deal with. The only side that T2 really has the advantage is this eastern edge of the map. Damage and range almost done here for Kane. Team 1's Randy Savage is over here holding position, trying to keep his Trimax at least under his control. He doesn't have anything built there, but at least try to keep it out of Team 2's hands. Range has been started for Babel's commander as well. Large amounts of Team 1 units brewing in the south here for Dr. Lexus. Unfortunately for him, his supply lines might get cut here by a nice little squadron or two of Aurora squads, not squadrons. Squadrons are in the air, squads are on the ground. Reminding myself. Aurora are inbound here for Just Q moving in. We see those units immediately shore up and push in, and they're just going to engage. It looks like they're not going to... they are going to engage. Both those units are. The Aurora have the range advantage. Dr. Lexus those other units have the hit points advantage. And Dr. Lexus coming in with his commander himself, coming in to rid Team 1's presence from the southern Trimix position that should be rightfully, at least he thinks, under his control. It is on Team 2's side of the map, to be fair, but currently Team 1 owns it, so he has to evict them. Gun speed and range has been started from the marches in the middle, and Kane moving in with that gun come. A large Team 1 land army pushing in against Babel. He has to deal with this. He's coming with his commander. Range and speed is on board, so he'll be able to deal with this quite quickly. He's facing off against Mantis, and his Aurora are a little bit weaker, of course, but they have more range. Gun has been finished from the marches, going for stealth. He might just blitz down Nano at this point. He's really, holding position. We do see that Kane is sending in some forces in the middle as well to hold position in the middle. T2 units online. Blaze is making their main stage appearance for Just Q. And Lin now coming in to assist his T1 land spam facility. Personally, he doesn't have any gun on board. Nexus has 1-star veterancy and gun, which gives him a huge advantage. He needs to keep moving with all that Zooey fire inbound. That's a lot of Zooey fire that's inbound. T1 bombers over the top going after the PD emplacements and the radar, which will knock out a decent amount of firepower for Team 1. And units coming in to encircle Dr. Lexus's commander. He does have an avenue of escape on the southern edge. He is in the yellow, sub 9,000 hit points, but he's just getting veterancy all the time. It's just going to beef up his hit points quite quickly. And Knightley's coming in as well. 2 of Team 1's commanders very far forward. Knightley commented to all, well, what's going on? Just let me move away from units. Really? Based. Don't die here. And looks like there was something going on and the game was paused. Knightley's walking back. Yeah, moving away. Who want base, says Knightley. Oh, looks like something's going on with his connection. So the first departure of the game goes to Knightley. Just trying to read in the comments and the chat what's going on. Looks like it was some sort of connection issue, and that's why it was like, just let me move away from the base and then I'll control K. So at least, some of the units weren't killed in the blast. That's definitely a benefit for Team 1's Lin. But now he's trying to walk down Dr. Lexus's commander. Unfortunately, he has the range advantage, which means Lin is going to be always in range and Dr. Lexus will not be in range. We see some FAMs moving in to disrupt those pathfinding efforts from Lin's commander, and Dr. Lexus will make it out of there. This is now a 4v5 game in favor of Team 2, just due to the fact that Knightley had to leave. That is not a kill. In the northeast, we see Babel and Kane going up against Randy Savage. Randy Savage blitzing down Kane's commander. Both commanders for Team 2 have gun speed and range, or gun damage and range in case of Kane. Randy forces both of them back. Babel acting as a nice little shield for Kane. Randy losing all of his land army in that engagement puts him at a huge disadvantage. Team 2 could push him, but I think they're going to hold out for the time being. And E-Gluten has actually come in and secured this position of the map. We do see that Fong is now almost being surrounded by Team 1's Just Q and the Martas on the north. We see all these forces coming in, cutting off all of the supply lines for him, and that is not going to be good. If he can't escape to the east, if that avenue of escape is blocked, that's a dead commander in the middle of the map for Team 2. And Dr. Lex is back over here. T3 gunship online for Gluten and is now going after Lin's commander. This is going to be the first official kill of the game at 12 minutes on the clock. Oh, Dr. Lex wants to get out of range. There he goes. He does take a little bit of AoE, but he is fine. And that is the first confirmed kill, legitimate kill of the game. And it's now a 3v5 in favor of the southeastern team of Team 2. T3 gunships online here for Team 2's Gluten. Does not bode well for the forces in the middle here for Team 1's Just Q. A couple of Janus over the top for Kane as well come in to try to bake his opponents in holy fire. We do see those restorers trying to mop up all of the AA mobile weaponry first and then go after everything else. Looks like they're falling back. They should be fine. Restorers have 6,000 hit points, and interceptors don't do a lot of damage, so he should be fine to just sit them here, park him there, and call it a day. And with Dr. Lexus killing off Lin, it's going to really allow him to have a lot of breathing room on the southeastern side. He's even sent units into the front line facilities here for Team 1's now Just Q as well. Just trying to kill off what he can. Like there's a nice little Yenzin over here targeting all of the other Team 1, T2 units. I think there's a T2 unit in there, but it's dead now, so not really important anymore because it's dead. Kane going for T2, establishing a nice defensive position in the east. I love how there's a couple of Team 1 emplacements over here and a radar just hanging out. Very close to Team 2. Team 1 PD. Looks like it was taken out, question mark, but the wall section was made? Don't know about that. Anyway. Starting stealth says, or at least that's what it says in chat for Randy Savage. He needs to probably go for Nano if he's going to face off against 2 commanders. He does have gun. He probably needs to go for Nano. T2 has been completed for Kane's commander. Gives him a little bit more hit points to play with. And gunships moving in for both Team 2's Fong and Gluten with Team 1 gunships and T3 gunships. It looks like the gunships from Team 2's Gluten have fallen back due to the ASFs making their main stage appearance for both the Martez and Just Q, which is weird. Where is his T3 air headquarters? Looks like it might have been donated. Looks like that unit was possibly donated because that's a Gemini. That's a Gemini. It looks like they were donated by Team 1's the Martas because I don't see any T3 air facilities online for Just Q. And Dr. Lexus has now claimed the southern edge of the map. We see that Team 2's Babel has claimed the eastern edge of the map and is now going to start encapsulating Team 1. Team 2 pushing heavily into the middle of the map here from Fong. And really the loss of both these players on the southwestern side have really disrupted things for Team 1. I mean, losing Knightley was bad enough, but losing Lin as well, it really has a huge impact on this western engagement here for Team 1. And it's going to be a lot of APM management. At this point, it's going to be Lamartis probably in the middle, Just Q in the south, and Randy Savage in the east. If Team 1 loses Randy Savage, it's going to be quite devastating here for Team 1. But Team 1 really needs to kill off somebody on Team 2. I mean, target anybody. Air player is always a good idea, or the player that's annoying you the most. Usually those are the two options I go with. And in this case, at least for Team 1's perspective, that might just be... might be Babel? No, because Babel and Kane, if one dies, the other one will take over. Probably Dr. Lexus, just to kind of make that a dead space in the southwestern section of the map. And we do see that gunship moving in, going after Randy Savage's commander. T2 PD going to protect Kane. Randy Savage pushes in, and those gunships retreat. The shield is coming online for Babel's commander. Probably wishes he was here to engage Randy Savage's commander. Kane pushing in. Look, he senses blood in the water, moving in. Looks like he's going for a reclaim, actually. Going for a nice little 200 grouping. ASF and Interceptors moving in to try to protect the comm, but gunships have already fled. And counterattack in the south here for Team 1's Just Q. A lot of territory he needs to re-grab and rebuild. But this outpouring of T2 units might be enough to give him a little bit more break. To do so, Dr. Lexus at 3-star veterancy will make his way to a 4th if his comm can get to the front lines and assist. And we do see again pushing back here for Team 2's falling in the middle of the map here. T3 land units online for Just Q. Team 1 has the advantage in technology for the time being for land, but I feel like that might start to not really be their advantage. T3 land is online for both Babel and Team 2's Fong. We do see that Lexus has joined his land army, and this land army from Just Q will be destroyed here right quick. Randy Savage trying to hold the line against Kane, and Kane just poking and prodding at Randy. He does have Nano on board. Kane does not. And we do see that the shield is almost done for Babel. I feel like once Babel finishes that upgrade, they're just going to walk him down. I think that's the plan here for both of those commanders for Team 2. There's not a lot of conversations in chat, which makes me think it's on comms. At least some of them are on comms. Shield has started here for Kane. He's actually upgrading that quite quickly. We do see a lot of units here for Babel, not necessarily here for Kane. Kane's mainly here for his comm, not necessarily for anything else. T3 air is online for him as well, so 2 air players for Team 2 will be quite the advantage if Team 1 doesn't mirror what they're doing, or they put a bunch more eco into it, one or the other. Dr. Lexus, again, on the front lines, almost up to 4-star veterancy, just needs one more kill on a T3 unit, T2 unit, and that'll be it. More units outbound from Just Q. Again, poking the same western side again. Team 2 is a little bit weaker on this western side. They need to watch out for that because they could just blitz through the wall and kill off a bunch of stuff, or maybe even the comm of Gluten if he's not careful. But the middle, besides that western side, has kind of died down. And again, a lot of that's just due to the fact it's very difficult to move around the map because of the nonsense that exists. As I kind of just make the camera go crazy. Apologies for that. Just kind of illustrating the fact that, I mean, it's annoying. I can tell it's annoying for the players just because of everything going on. And I mean, there's some avenues of attack, but it's just very difficult to really move in. Moving units through mountains really the only way to really get anywhere. And those rhinos moving in here for Lamartis will push back at least a little bit. Just Q's forces are the more threatening thing here for Team 2. Team 1 PD isn't going to be enough. And all they got to do is move in, kill off some wall sections, and push on through. Or even reclaim them. They're harbingers. They can do that. It looks like the reinforcements from Team 2's Fong have arrived. They'll push back the rhinos. And again, it's just kind of a stalemate in the middle here for both of those teams, for both those players. Gluten finishes some upgrades. He has advanced range on board. Going for shield. He's going to bring his comm forward. Very interesting considering he is the air player. I feel like the time for that has kind of passed. 20 minutes on the clock. He should have been on the front lines earlier. That's just me. I mean, he is going to be worrying about this attack over here shortly. Team 1, I mean, they are seen by Team 2, so it's only going to last a certain amount of time. There's no mobile stealth or anything that can deter this. And the comm of Can't Eat Gluten is going to move in and intercept. That's exactly what he's doing that for. So as long as he probably stays back, he should be fine. Randy Savage pushes in against Kane. Regrets that decision because he is now killed off by Kane and Babel forces and comms. There's now a 2v5 in favor of Team 2 with, I'm assuming, Lamarches will gain control of everything that Randy Savage just owned. You see even the comm of Fong comes in to intercept. And those rest of those forces here for Just Q now retreat westward, trying to cut off whatever they can or kill off whatever they can. Lexus is pushing forward. He's now at that 4-star veterans. He killed off 8 of the 10,000 mass he needs for 5. And Kane, not stopping this momentum, continues to push in. Is being kind of tickled right now by a couple of these Cerberus PD emplacements. There's only 2 of them, but there's more being added all the time. Eventually he will be forced back, but he's going to sit here for as long as he can. 3-star veterancy now on board. And Overcharge kills off another Rhino. Will get him closer and closer to a 4-star commander. Gunships online here for Team 1's Lamartis. This could be the first kill for Team 1, and they desperately need some sort of, payback for their dead players. And Kane has almost lost his shield. There it goes. He's taking whole hit points now. Another Overcharge comes in and kills off another unit. He's almost close to that 4-star comm. There it goes. Kills off 3 more units. That's another rank in veterancy for him. Barely gets back up to the green. Another double kill here. Gets him to 7.5k. He's rushing for that shield. T2 shield being built for Babel to assist. Oh, Kane's dropping below 5,000 hit points and falling. Gunships. One of them is killed off. The other one is still online. Gets a bubble shield to protect himself. Nice little asylum. He gets underneath shield coverage. Another kill. 8.2k mass killed. And he is barely alive. Sub 2,000 hit points. I think if that asylum didn't come in, he would have been very close, if not dead. We see some gunships moving in here for Team 2's air player of Gluten and just get eradicated by the ASF forces. And we do see those ASF forces now engaging. The first air fight of the game will go Team 2's way. The numbers do favor Team 2. It's just number games at this point. It's not necessarily a position. I love the positioning of the Omni radar, though, on this upper plateau. Makes it a little bit difficult for land units to engage that. We see more counterattacks outbound from Just Q using this avenue attack, just ignoring Dr. Lexus on the southwest section of the map, just cutting in here. We do see that Gluten is going to be retreating here. Looks like he doesn't really need to. Ilshis are holding off for the time being. But eco damage is done. That's what Team 1 wanted. Team 1, to be fair, they are down 3 players, but they are up in eco almost 100 mass per second. 21 minutes on the clock. Team 1 has lost 3 players just recently. Randy Savage in the northeast. Team 2 has not lost anybody. Team 2 is behind, like I said, in mass income at let's say about 700. Team 1 about 770, so about 70 mass more for Team 1 than Team 2. Which 22 minutes isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Team 2 does have 2 air players, with one of them being Kane, just shifting everything over to Gluten so he can micro that. And Team 1 only has 1 air player as of right now. But again, that air player does have 3 bases versus Team 2 only have 1 each. So, while Team 1 and Team 1 is leading the charge with mass income with 400 and 300 respectively, almost everybody on Team 2 does have over 100 mass. So they're starting to come in. They're mainly T3 Mechs, but Team 1 is ahead of the game quite significantly at this stage in the game. And at this stage in the game, let me know down in the comments who you would vote for the winner of the game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets, because everybody, including your pets, deserves to watch Forged Alliance Forever content. And why not watch it here? Since you're already watching, just have your pet come sit by, grab some snacks, put this on the big screen, and hang out with your pet for like an hour or so, depending on how long these games are. And my pet is currently away. My wife went out of town with the dog, and so I'm kind of home alone, which is sad. It gives me a little bit more time to do videos, but I do miss my dog, so that is the thing. Anyway, in the south, Team 2 is going for a nano repair upgrade. Probably will go for cloaking. Maybe. If he goes back on the front line, he should go for cloaking. But for now, he's just probably going to sit there with nano. He's probably more worried about this attack outbound from Just Q. And we have 2 commanders sitting here for Team 2 with a third one down here. We could see Just Q actually go after Dr. Lexus, which I think that's what he's going for. A couple of Authams lead away the main force for Dr. Lexus. Dr. Lexus finishes that T2 upgrade, will immediately build some PD, but that T3 and T2 army is going to move in ever so slightly closer, and that's not going to feel good on Dr. Lexus's back. That's where he's like, nope, see you, bye. I'm going to start moving. Kind of moves ever so slightly out of the way. I don't really know what that was about. Maybe that was a misclick or something. But that PD is online. Very frontline engineers reclaiming, getting a T1 land facility to pump out even more engineers to scoop up all that reclaimed large T2, T3 army pushing in here from Fong against Just Q's forces in the middle. And Lamardis has been essentially entirely kicked out of the middle here for now. T3 artillery, mobile artillery specifically, ripping apart all of those bases and defenses. Babel pushing in a little bit of assistance from Kane, but that's mainly just defensive structures as well as some TMD, which is just defensive structures. It's mainly Babel focusing on the land incursion in the north. At this point, I feel like Team 2's goal is just overwhelm Team 1 with APM and all of that. Tons of lightning tanks and T2AA online here for Team 1's Just Q. He wants to protect this from both land and air incursions, which in this map, there's no water. Well, I guess there's water, but it's frozen in the form of snow. There's no ponds, no lakes, no giant ocean whatevers to put naval units in. And advanced nano repair is coming online for him underneath some PD protection for Lexus. 3 of them in fact. Love that. Wish he was a little bit further back, but he probably wants the advanced nano to protect himself and give him a boost in hit points. Authams are moving in for the T2 positioning that he finds himself in, and I think he might have to cancel it. He has to get out of dodge. There he goes. He's like, nope, it's not worth it. Gonna see you bye. Overcharge kills off the first Autham in line, working up to that 5-star veterancy commander. We see Harbingers and Authams chase down the commander of Dr. Lexus. The PD are the main goal. I don't know if Just Q notices that the comm's right there. Oh, now he notices. And Authams now honing in on that commander and lightning tanks as well. He will get up to 5-star veterancy, kills off that lightning tank. We'll get to it, but he is suffering quite quickly. He's in the yellow. He's going to die. There's no way out of it. He's going to get in the middle of this land army, kill up as much as he can. And there he goes. He control K's, in fact. And that is the kill here for Team 1's Just Q. It is not, well, it is a control K technically, but it was a tactical control K, killing off some hit points and units for Just Q, making this now a 4v2 in favor of Team 2. Missiles outbound from Kane's commander. He doesn't have Billy Nuke as of yet, but he probably will here soon. He's UEF. Why would you not go Billy Nuke if you're already going to build the missile launcher on board your backpack? Restorers come in, not really known for their air-to-ground weaponry, but again, anything is better than nothing. T2, T3 Mechs is being ripped apart here by those forces. They're going to continue to push in, and Gluten goes, okay, that's probably enough, with some gunship assistance as well to be able to route the rest of these forces. And great grab here by Just Q. They needed a break, and they went after Dr. Lexus. There's going to be a lot less APM devoted to this by Team 2, just due to the fact there's not that main commander there anymore. So it'll be a little bit more of a break for him. He can expand out, kill off the rest of what Team 2 has, re-expand out, get a little bit more mass income, because now Team 2 is in the lead for mass income. And we do see a large engagement occurring here in the north here between Babel and Team 1 from Lamardis. We do see that those bricks leading the charge against mainly T2 units. I don't see any T3s in the mix. Do see some Obsidians. Love to see those. Most of the T3 units are actually down here for Babel. So we'll have to see if those are able to rejoin that main land army. Unfortunately, they have been cut off from the main group, so they can't engage. Looks like they're actually going to be diverted over here to the middle of the map instead. And those units have been dealt with by the Restorers. Team 1, maybe air fight here soon. Colossus online here for Team 2's air player of Gluten. And now we see a second Colossus online for Babel. Chicken being intercepted by the Colossus. We see that inverted laser. Why can't you do that with the Mechs to make it easier to see those gunships targeting the AA? They are protected. That don't know where that one's going. That Redeemer's going. They went through a little hillside. We see a monkey coming in. Colossus, chicken, monkey, another Colossus inbound, and it's going to land right next to that chicken, dealing it some damage. The monkey will survive. Needs to get out of range of that Ion Storm though. And this fight will be won by Team 2. Mass on Team 2 side of the map. Nice little mass gift from Team 1. But that monkey will probably die to that Ion Storm. Definitely unfortunate for the monkey. There it goes. 5,000 hit points, 4,000, 2,000. Want that, and there it goes. It's only a matter of time. Team 1's able to push back Babel for the time being, but a lot of the reclaim kind of in Team 2's doorstep, essentially. Or it's outside their doorstep. It's on the lawn, essentially. And for Team 1, it's on the other side of the street. So you got the street right here. Here's the lawn. Here's the lawn. Here's the door. And there's the door. T1 bombers outbound going after this land army. Lightning tanks able to outrange them quite easily. One bomb makes it? No. One bomb does not make it. ASF's grouping up in the middle here for Team 2's Gluten. We see a lonely little brick running around the map here for Fong, just going after what he can. It will be killed off before he kills off a T3 mix, but he will kill off 2 mass storages, which means that's 5 mass per second that Just Q is losing, which, again, it adds up after a while, of course, but it's not that great. Gunships moving in here for both the Restorer and the Broadsword variety. First major airfight of the game occurs. There's some AA on board the Broadswords and the Restorers. More on the Restorers than the Broadswords, but there's something. And that airfight will be won by Team 2. Team 2 will take decent casualties in that fight, but unfortunately it will be netted in Team 2's direction. That is air dominance here for Team 2 at 29, almost 30 minutes on the clock. There are some ASF in terms of, UEF ASFs as well, so it's definitely air dominance for Team 2. Group of gunships over here to the west. They are the Whaler variety. A nice little mix of Restorer and Broadswords. Looks like they get pinged, possibly by Team 1's Lamartis saying, hey, there's stuff over there. Or even Just Q, because he's like, hey, there's stuff over there. Land incursion is inbound here from Team 2's Fong. Moving into this base. Omni is under threat. So that's going to be devastating to lose the Omni radar sensor. It looks like the Restorers, they're kind of back and forth deciding if they want to engage. Those land units will kill off that Omni, though, blinding Team 1 a little bit in the middle. There's some backup Team 1s over to the west, but they're not as good, of course, as the Omni sensor. And at this point, Team 2 could easily just play a defensive game and call it a day. Team 1 is producing more mass income than Team 2, and the ASF will rip apart those gunships sitting over here to the west. Definitely unfortunate. They got nothing for those gunships in terms of damage. Another Colossus, outbound from Just Q. Not being sent to the south. There is a chicken already here diverted to this. And there's also a Colossus here. We could see another mass gift possibly in the opposite direction here from Team 2 to Team 1. Everybody wanted a piece of that action. Look at that. We have 4 of the 5 engineer... 3 of the 4 engineer colors from Team 2. Right here, scooping up all that reclaim. And that Colossus will engage that chicken. The chicken will lose that fight, of course. But the Colossus from Team 1 can engage to assist this. And it's not going to protect the chicken. That Colossus is having some navigation issues running around the map. And the chicken will do a decent amount of damage to that Colossus, though. It'll drop it about 50% of its hit points. But the damage is done. Unless that Colossus tries to make it home, which it's not. This is going to continue to just barrel on forward. It's going to do as much damage and walk into the Iron Storm. That's never a good idea. Dancing with that Colossus over here from Just Q. And barely gets out of the arc. Nope, never mind. No, there it goes. Colossus is now dead. Should have just returned it home at that point. made it a little bit harder for Team 1 to scoop up the reclaim. Experimental in the north. Another Colossus here for Team 2's Babel. And just air fight getting very, very deadly here for Team 1. Just a lot of ASFs. Team 2 could just send them in an airlock. They don't want to do that because there's a decent amount of AA in the area for just Q, but they could do it. Doesn't mean they should do it. They could do it. And large land army being built here for both teams in the southwest. Again, it's more of a just we're going to send units and wait a little bit and then attack. It's not really directly microed here by either of these players just because it's the area of the map where there's no direct comm there. So they're kind of focused on other pursuits. Both teams now at 1,000 mass income for mass. I think I said that. I think I said mass twice in that sentence. And Otham's moving in against Otham's here. It's a Seraphim versus Seraphim fight. Sniper bots also online here for Team 2. I don't see any for Team 1, so that's going to be an advantage for Team 2's Kane. We do see some gunships also coming online. There's a decent amount of AA, not as much as there used to be, though. And those gunships are going to take a beating, though. But they are going to start killing up all the lightning tanks. It's going to be a lot of damage, decent casualties here, but it might be enough for Team 2 to break on through and push back Just Q on that southwestern side. New Omni has been made to give Team 1 more Omni and radar sensor capabilities. But I do love that Team 2's Babel has a decently far forward Omni sensor online as well. Let's see if I can grab it. There we go. They can see everything in the Crimson Ring. And then comparatively with Gluten's Omni sensor, they can see everything in that Crimson Ring. So there's a little bit of overlap, but there's a lot of the map that they can see. And unless it's underneath a stealth field generator or cloaking, or even cloaking with a Cybern Commander, it won't matter. But it's in that Omni Ring. Air grid being expanded by both of these players. Colossus being expansion. Colossus construction is being expanded as well as chicken expansion as well. 33 minutes on the clock. Team 1, I mean, they're producing as much as mass as Team 1 as Team 2. They probably should be thinking about other ways to spend it. Don't see any game enders or nukes as of yet. But that could always change. I'm going to speed it up just to 1. This is a little bit slow. It's a slow news day right now. There's not a lot of action going on right now, so I'm going to speed it up probably even just to 2, just ever so slightly. And again, map control severely favors Team 2, and that's why it's surprising that Team 1 is still producing more mass than Team 2. It's all their mexes look like they're T3, at least in terms of a bird's eye view. Team 2 still has a couple of mexes that can upgrade the T3 specifically for Babel on that eastern side. Kane is producing the most mass on his team at 400, while Lamartez and Just Q are outproducing everybody else individually on Team 1, not collectively. There are some games where one player on one team is outproducing everybody on the other team, but that is not one of those games. This is not one of these games as of right now. Large group of AA forces surrounding that Colossus, and Crab are moving in. Crab retreating, and here's another scenario in which Pathfinding and those giant nonsense, mountain nonsense are being annoying. 2 Colossi and 1 Crab, and they can barely get line of sight on that 1 Crab from Team 2, and I can barely get an I can't get an image, can't get a nice little viewing angle on those units without that camera angle just completely being botched. Not great in terms of trying to take a screenshot for the thumbnail, which is what I try to do during most games. Some games I kind of get distracted with all the action. I kind of forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I need a thumbnail. In some games I'm like, that's a good thumbnail. I'm going to get it right now. And then I miss something, and I'm like, I missed something. But it's definitely a love-hate relationship with not knowing where everything is and whatnot on the map, which I'm doing slowly better. But again, even after 360 plus casts, I'm still getting better. I'm still learning. Everybody's still pointing stuff out in the comment section, which I love. I will never not ask for more, like, hey, what should I do to improve? Hey, what do you like? What do you don't like? Like last video of the whole where should I put the mini map, and I kind of like it a little bit further north. I think over here, just on the eastern edge, is just way too much. I think of just space being taken up. You know, especially if I'm, over here kind of thing. You don't see anything on the eastern edge of the map, eastern edge of the screen. So I think I'll just keep it a little bit further north. Just kind of it a little bit overlaps with the mass, but not too bad. Just to give a little bit more of a view for everybody watching, and for me playing and watching as well. Crab v Crab here. No real contest here between these two teams, or two players, or two experimentals. Once those Colossus move in, that's a different story. We do see Restorers moving in to the west against this land army with some Restorers with some broadswords as well. And the AA on board the chicken is not great, and that chicken is going to suffer quite a lot of hit points. I don't think the ASF are going to move in. If they do, this is an air win for Team 2. And the ASF actually prepping for it, and the ASF from Team 1 go, did we do it? Did we do it? Did we do it? And Team 2's Gluten says, I'm going to do it anyways, and moves in. Decent engagement here for Gluten. Actually, great engagement here. Looks like Lamarda's trying to lure him underneath some AA coverage, which kind of happens, but not really. And those gunships just give him full range to go after everything in this land army here for Just Q on the western side. Crab over here to the east meets a Colossus assisting, but that crab is gone. Second crab is gone as well for right here. And this is just a huge, not great situation here for Team 2. In the middle of the map, bunch of experimentals. There should be engineers on way, which there's a couple of them over there, but there's not a lot. Colossus gets bodied here by two Colossus and a crab. Team 2's Babel in the northeast being raided by some whalers in the north. Large T3 army moving in. Probably should not lead with your AA units, but bouncers can shoot at ground targets. Not great accuracy-wise, but they can still shoot. Kane, have you gone for the Billy Nuke? Where is your commander? Is it in your main base? Where is it? Where is Kane's commander? Oh, it's in the... It's literally on the edge of the map. No wonder I could see it. Oh, I couldn't see it. Sitting, going for an upgrade. Maybe he's going for Billy Nuke? Maybe he's going for teleporter? Maybe he's going for Maybe he's going for T3. Maybe he's going for T3. We'll probably check in once the scoreboard tells me what he went for. But gunships coming in here for Team 2's air player T3. That's what it was. And T3 also for Just Q finishes. Roughly in the same amount of time. Airfight happens once again. Team 2 again still has the advantage. There's a little bit more AA underneath this, but the gunships are ripping that apart very quickly. I don't know if the AA is focusing on the ASF or not, but more AAs inbound here for Team 1's Lamardis. He's trying to counter the air advantage that Team 2 has, but that's a lot of damage per second. Thousands of hit points on a Colossus are being ripped away. AA is closing in. Will they get that one gun? Will they get that one Colossus? Gunships are moving in. No, they won't. Very close here for Team 1. Almost lost those Colossi and the crab, but the AA came in to save the day. Attack in the north here for Babel. And looks like that's still the wreck of Randy Savage. Colossus over here is destroyed. Large brick wall moving in, though. Looking devastating here for Team 2's eastern side. Western side looking a lot better here for Team 2. Kane pushing in, forcing Just Q back quite significantly. Just Q has switched from attacking from the west to the middle. And the ASF pressuring Team 2's ASF quite significantly. Gunships are taken out. And air fight happens once again. It is just constantly air raiding here for Team 1 and Team 2. Looks like some mexes have been taken out by some missiles from Team 1. See a couple of T3 mexes that are gone. All right. Oh, no, they're not gone. Yeah, they're gone. Interestingly. They're building T1 mexes instead of T3. And there's a huge attack still barreling down on Team 2's eastern side. But Team 2 is pushing on this western side with the Colossus in tow. Team 1 has one Colossus in tow. That is it. Second experimental coming in from a chicken will be enough to force that push back. Disruptor has been started by Team 1's Lamardis. Team 2 and Team 1 still at 1 point. 2K mass. They're tied up in eco overall. Kane's still sitting here in the southeastern corner doing whatever he's doing. There's also a couple mexes back here that got taken out by a transport with a brick, it looks like. Donut is moving in. There's a lot of AA here underneath that donut. Looks like the Colossus have been taken out. The donut is being ripped apart as we speak, though. Looks like, oh no, the Colossus right here underneath that donut. It's not going to go good for that AA for the donut. Donut looks like it's fine now. It's in the clear. There's more AA coming into range. ASF's being thrown at this donut, trying to take out whatever it can in terms of hit points. It's in the yellow. And Restorers and Broadswords coming in, trying to kill off all the Colossus. They kill off both of them. Donut will be killed off, but the ASF for Team 1's Lamardis get killed off again. And it's just constantly back and forth here between these two players. They just will not give up the air fight one way or the other. And again, while the attack in the west continues to get pushed forward, there is a chicken in the mix as well. With chicken and Colossus, chicken and Colossus, chicken and waffles. That sounds good. See, I'm still talking about food. Chicken online. That Colossus will most likely die. The chicken is actually receiving the brunt of that firepower, though. This Colossus tries to fall back. It's at 3-star veterancy, almost at 4 stars. If the chicken dies, it should be enough. It is enough. 4-star veterancy now on board. That Colossus gives him a bunch more hit points to use. And now the gunships go, okay, we're done with this push. We're done with it. We're done. We're done. It's like a parrot, like with the kids playing video games. Okay, you've been playing for long enough. That's it. You're done. That's it. You're done. Time to time to get off and go outside or do something. Engineers hastily reclaiming with now Monkey Lords securing the mass amount of just the nonsense. That is a lot of red numbers on my screen. Almost 500,000 mass, almost half a million mass on screen, and it is on the eastern side and on the western side. Colossus probably taken out now. No, it's still alive. It's back. Oh no, that one's not great. The attack is halted by Team 1's Just Q. Large mass grouping on that western side for them to grab. Large massing on the eastern side to grab. Broadswords continuing to rip apart all of those bricks. Those bricks are not having a good day. And ASF now moving in for Team 1's Lamardis. Those gunships have to fall back. Team 2 doesn't really have an air force anymore. And it's being transferred over immediately to Team 2's Gluten. He's building another donut. And it looks like he's building an on... Oh, what? Why? Why are you... Why? Why did you build a T2? And then you started the T3. And then you start building the T3. And then you're building a scatter shield. I don't get the... What are you doing with that? I don't get it. Just either build the Omni and then do it, or build the... Yeah, it just confuses me. Don't know why that's happening. Restores over here to the west, assisting the Colossus that's being intercepted by that Colossus. Fortunately, that Colossus dies, but that Colossus will also die. There's just a lot of mass everywhere on the map. Monkey Lord's running around the map in the middle. Team 1's artillery is online. Team 2 has no shielding for their... Oh, no, sorry. There's no shielding for the UEF, so Aeon air grid, but not the UEF one is fine for now. Chicken expansion still going on here for Team 2. Looks like Colossus still the main item on the menu here for Team 2. GG says just Q to all. What's he talking about? Talking about the restorers? Or no, he's not talking about the restorers. He's probably talking about the artillery from Team 1's Lamardis. One artillery is not really the end-all, be-all. Still, I don't know what Kane's doing down here. He has a T3 Omni and a T2 radar system. Don't know why. T3 Mechs is being re-expanded by Can't Eat Gluten. And tons of reclaim. It looks like Just Q had to go. That's why he said GG. So everything transferred over to Lamardis. 1.1k mass income for him. Kane was at 4.6k for a brief second. Probably reclaim related. And Team 2 sitting at 2.1. There he goes. And Team 1 drops to 1 player remaining. That we've had 2 players have to leave due to connection, due to whatever else is going on. Whether it be... That looks like mainly he had to go. He's tired. Work. Whatever the case happened, he had to go. There was a time limit that he had, and the game took a little bit longer than he probably thought it would. But air grid is down for Team 2's Gluten. The only one is online is for Kane. Wow, that sentence was very bad. The only one still online is the one controlled by Kane. There we go. That's a better way to put it. Still don't know what's going on down there. Looks like there is still some tiny little trees that Team 2 can scoop up. Just tiny little trees. Not a lot, just a little bit. And how's the reclaim looking on the map? It was at 500,000, and it's gone down to 376. More than 100,000 mass has been reclaimed in about a couple of minutes. In terms of reclaim numbers here for both teams, 240,000 for Team 1, 400,000 for Team 1. Sorry, for Team 2, which means that is 160 mass more for Team 2, and that has netted most of their total mass accrued more. In terms of like the total mass accrued overall of the game, they're ahead by 200,000. Most of that is just by the reclaim numbers. Lamardis now has control of everything, all the mass, all the everything. And he has 1 artillery online. He needs more shielding. 1 is not enough. He's going for a crab as we speak. Has monkeys over here, Colossus, chicken. We're just missing. No one built a FAF warrior, very surprisingly. Kane's the only UEF player, so he didn't build a FAF warrior, very surprisingly. Anyway, looks like he's building pigeons down here. Why is he building pigeons down here? Looks like he has some power regulation issues. He needs more shielding, it looks like, and that's what's soaking up all his power. Let's experimental push here. Maybe he'll slow down his own experimental, talking about through this middle channel. There is a Colossus Babel, a Babel Colossus running around, 2 monkeys and another Colossus moving in, and another Monkey Lord. So 3 Monkey Lords, 2 Colossus is a decent amount of attack power. We see a large land army to the west here for Kane. And at this point, I'm going to speed it up to +3 just to move that along just a little bit. Everything transferred over to Babel, not to Babel, to Fong. And that 1 artillery still pumping out artillery shells. It's going after the air grid now for Kane. Kane trying to get more and more shielding online. Taking a little bit longer, though. Oh, that engineer gets killed off. That's unfortunate. Shielding is starting to fall. Kane, how's your power going? Don't think it's going well. It's barely positive, but he's struggling to keep it online. I feel like everybody else on Team 2 has more power. That's 500. That's 2,000. That's 6,000. I mean, Kane can... That is Kane. Oh, Kane fixed it, I guess. Yeah, I guess Kane fixed it now. Okay. So he's not struggling as much, but he was. Land army is pushing in. I think they should have waited. No, I don't think they should have waited. They have 5 experimentals. Crab is moving in to intercept. It's going to take a little bit longer to do that, though. And there's a large amount of T3 units waiting to meet those units. And those units go, okay, we won't go. See you, bye. What? I don't know. I mean, he could have gone in, but he doesn't want a mass gift, I think is what it really comes down to. Team 2 has not gone for artillery as of yet. Don't see anything really big ticket items here for Team 2. I still don't know what Kane's doing down here with all those pigeons. We really don't know. I know he's trying to get more power reserves for shielding, but I don't know what he's doing else with them. Doesn't look like he's going for artillery because he would have put them in that little diamond formation. But the Colossus turn around. Don't know why it gave him a little bit of an advantage. Units are pouring out of the north here for Team 1's. Lamardis, I guess. Lamardis is the Team 1 de facto player. He's the only player left, so it's just Lamardis is Team 1 and Team 1 is Lamardis. I still think I'm saying his name wrong every time I say it, but I do apologize if I do say your name wrong, Lamardis. If you do watch this video, please correct me down in the comments if I'm correct or not on that. Gunships moving in here for some AA and air ground support. ASFs move in here from Team 2's air player, and huge engagement here by Team 1's Lamardis. I still say Team 1. And air fight does ensue a little bit away from some AA. There's still some AA coverage, but it's definitely it's kind of tied. Colossus holding the breach to the north. Monkeys going after the crab. They killed off the Colossus. Colossus and crab are down. Colossus holding the breach to the north, getting a ton of veterancy here from this. This Colossus almost at 1 star. This one almost at 1 star as well. Monkey Lords killed off 50,000 mass. This one's at 27. This one's at 6. Now the Monkey Lords are inbound. And there's a Colossus coming in to assist. Monkey Lords will hold off the breach, so these Colossus can try to survive. 1 Monkey Lord in range, 2 Monkey Lord in range, 3 Monkey Lord in range. This Colossus will die. It is at 1 star veterancy. It's going to try to get out of range. Colossus now retask onto the monkeys. This monkey will die, but it won't. The Colossus does get killed. The Colossus does get killed here for Team 2. Colossus die everywhere. Monkey going after everything over here. It looks like the hole has been opened. Crab is over here to the north. Missile is outbound? Or is that an artillery shell? That is an artillery. Is that from that disruptor? Is that disruptor actually in range? Oh yeah, it is. Look at that. It is in range. And Team 1 has netted a huge victory on the land side of things. Large AA being spammed up. An attack in the west as well. Chicken walking right up next to that Colossus. Second chicken a little bit further back. Attacking at range. Ion Storm going to activate right on top of that Colossus. There it goes. Second Colossus is going to be ripped apart by the Ion Storm. Thousands of hit points being shaved off. ASF securing the skies above it. But the attack in the east is commencing, as well as more forces outbound from Babel. 50 minutes on the clock. Still don't know what's going down. Looks like he's building satellite. Looks like he's building power for his teammates. Maybe that's what it was. But that artillery has stopped firing on the air grid ever so slightly. Looks like it's targeting the ground units, but it's not going to really get anywhere, unfortunately. Looks like it's retasked onto other things. Looks like it's retasked back onto that the airfield for Team 2's Kane. But lightning tanks holding position underneath those ASF and there's 3 monkeys and the Colossus push forward. Babel sends his forces back. He sends another detachment north. I feel like if this wall cracks, that's it for Team 1, for Lamardis. He's done and dusted. Crab trying to kill off all the bricks and the other supporting units. Colossus now in range of all those supporting units, and now here comes the 4 lasers versus the 1. Crab retest onto the weaker of the monkeys, but that doesn't matter. 3 monkeys and a Colossus blitz down the Crab very, very quickly. There it goes. This Crab could be brought forth, but it's going southward. Crab, actually, Colossus going eastward, and Crab going south. But the door is now open. That land army is moving in. Team 2's Fong smells blood, and we even see now units grouping up to attack once again for Kane on the western side. Attack on 2 fronts is not great for Lamardis. And is not looking good here for him. He's done a really good job, to be fair. He lost 2 players earlier on, lost the 3rd one, and then lost his teammate of Just Q just a couple minutes ago. PD are going down. Units moving around the edge of the wall sections up to the north. The northeastern edge of Team 1's lineup. Team 2's base is being taken out. ASF's moving, get eviscerated by AA. That was not a great idea. Team 1 bombers being spammed up to hold off the push. My air keeps auto-locking, says Gluten. That sucks. That must be annoying. And those monkey lords are being bombarded by the skies. Colossus are falling back due to the 2 Colossus inbound. There's a new one inbound here for Babel as well. They'll probably regroup with them and launch another attack. Crab is taken out over here. 3 chickens are inbound here for Lamardis. It's a fade and attack, fade and a jab, fade and a jab from one side or the other. The eastern side attack. Lamardis attack. The western side attack. The west forces respond. Eastern side attack. The Colossus pull to the east to deal with this, but at the same time they lose protection over here. Colossus is nearby though, but there's 3 chickens. There's not enough everything to hold off the bleeding here for Lamardis. We even see these units for Babel coming in, Monkey intercepting those. Colossus turn around, the monkeys turn around as well. That's what they were waiting for. This Colossus is dead before this one is. Once this other one falls, that is game here for Team 2. Scathis was started. That project was abandoned. This Colossus is down. 2 more chickens continue to just punch on through. There goes that first Colossus, and the second one are down. Team 2 does not suffer a casualty. Monkey Lord still online, holding off Babel's additional forces, but you can just tell just by zooming out, the bleeding is just evident. It's not going to be great here. 4 experimentals over here to the west could have easily been brought over, but wasn't brought over soon enough. Chickens moving into that air grid slowly but surely. All of those pigeons going up in smoke. All the chickens have to do is just push in. If they go after the pigeons, they might get a small cascade, but Lamardis is right next to some pigeons. Not a great place to stand. He does have nano, so he'll survive a little bit, but not enough. T1 bombers trying to be thrown at this, but air is protecting them, at least ever so slightly. More units coming in from Fong through the middle to the west side now. And like I said, attack on 2 fronts. These units diverted to the east, couldn't cut off the bleeding. The chicken's moving in. There's the calm of Lamardis. He's in range. There goes the pigeons. He takes some shots. That might just be a kill with the pigeon. There it goes. There it goes. There goes the calm of Team 1's last remaining player, and that is game for Team 2. GG's in chat from Team 2's side. And that was it was an interesting game. It definitely had its highs and its lows in terms of action, but Team 1 had the artillery. If Team 1, it just probably came down to a lack of APM for most of it, just because there were multiple avenues of attack for Team 2 to take. Team 1 was on the defensive. The eastern side was attacked. Western side of attack, those forces held, were moved in too late. Maybe if these forces moved in and protected this side, that might have been fine. But then you had this attack over here. There were 2 monkeys. Maybe he would have lasted a little bit longer, but it was just, there was so much to manage. It was essentially a survival map once I think Just Q left. But again, let me know down in the comments who you would pick for MVP for Team 2 side of the map. It's definitely a toss-up between Kane and... I mean, Fong did a really good job in the middle as well. It's hard to really pick. Everybody did a very good job overall. So I don't think I have a pick for MVP for this game. Let me know down in the comments if you have a pick and why. Again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. If you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.